got one question for you. Are you ready?
And we are live. What is going on, everybody? We appreciate you guys coming back again for another amazing interview. And tonight we have the incredibly talented, and I'm not kidding, songwriter, instrumentalist, musician, all around amazing musician, AJ Smith. What's going on, my friend?
What's up, man? How's everything going?
What is up, brother?
Yeah, we're doing good. It is
Pretty good.
what an amazing week. What an amazing week. I mean, and I know that Chef, you've been listening to AJ Smith's music all weekend long and all week. And you've been blown away just like I have. Just an amazing, phenomenal musician. And I'm sitting here reading your bio, and it's like 10 instruments currently. Teaches NASA scientists, teaches NASA astronauts ukulele.
I read that. I was blown away by the bio.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Totally love it, man. Totally love it. And tonight we get two live songs, so we cannot beat this. This is just going to be a phenomenal night. And so, but first, you know what time it is, everybody. It's time to discuss some desserts. It's dessert time. So we always go guest first, who's told me in the green room that he ate some of the dessert already because it sounds like it's amazing. So let's talk about, what did you bring, my friend?
I got in the mood the other day. I have no idea why, to make like these snickerdoodle cookies, and I made like 40 of them. And I'm down to my last 10, and it's been like 2 days. And like, this is a quarter of a cookie compared to my face for size, and I've eaten like 30 of these things in the last 48 hours. So, we'll see how that goes for me.
The snickerdoodles are the fan favorite. There's been a few artists that have enjoyed that do enjoy snickerdoodles. I've actually made them a few times.
What's it? So snickerdoodles, what is the main ingredients, James? I've heard, I buy it. We talked about it last week, actually, is somebody else's favorite cookies of all time. What's in a snickerdoodle that makes
not even like a main ingredient? It's really just a basic cookie recipe, like flour, sugar. It's got the cream of tartar that got like the acidity to kind of help them kind of puff up a little bit, and then cinnamon and butter. I mean, really, it's like a basic cookie recipe. Nothing really like special. Maybe some vanilla, but it's pretty like kind of like basic. But they're a favorite of mine. They're a favorite of my girlfriend's too.
Tried and true. It's like apple pie. I love apple pie. You know?
Yeah.
Absolutely love it too. That's totally true. Like, how can you go wrong with apple pie, snickerdoodles? I don't know, unless you overcook them. Maybe that's it.
That's one thing I made too, was actually an actual snickerdoodle apple pie bread kind of thing. I stuffed apple pie mixture into a snickerdoodle. So there you go.
Right. So you're gonna ask, what did Andy bring today? And I actually made something, Chef. I made something. So in honor of AJ Smith and his song called Confetti, I made confetti cookies. Now inside of these, so inside of these is like a sugar cookie, but inside of it is all those little confetti, like chocolate. Like it's like M&Ms, like cut up M&Ms.
Okay,
nice.
Totally good. Totally good. And I was thinking, I got to do something that kind of goes along with something. That's why one of his songs, I got to find something that's kind of goes along. I was like, confetti cookies. Perfect. So that was in honor of AJ Smith and his amazing song Confetti, which is the first song that I heard off of, I think I listened to it off of Apple Music, and then I switched to Spotify and heard a bunch of others there. So
Confetti, I think it was one of the first ones that popped up for me.
Yeah. Of course, I'm going to say that I cannot. These were okay. So I cheated. I made these out of a packet. There's nothing. There's nothing.
I was gonna say, did you make those? But hey, I'm still actually impressed though, because you kind of stepped out of the diet zone and you went to the dark side and made cookies. So.
Well, I know. I've lost some weight, but so here's the thing. My grandkids are here. So grandkids are already claimed all of the cookies. So I'm just completely out. But I'm going to tell you, we know that the chef who's made homemade cookies, and actually we now have a video on the cookie making process. So we're going to try to do this as much as we can, because the chef is an amazing chef. You're really making some cool stuff. What did you make today, my friend?
I will say a little bit about the video. It was fun to make. I did actually forget. Well, I made a big batch, but I actually forgot to add on in the video, adding the flour and the peanut butter itself. So it ended up being a lot of mix. So I actually had to use a separate bowl, the ones that didn't make the fit in the actual mixing bowl. So I had to mix it by hand, and I couldn't do that with one hand and videotape with the other hand. So I had to use both hands. But
it's okay.
That was fun to make. But I did you kind of get the point of it. But I made peanut butter cookies.
Oh, I love it. And these are, and again, these are from scratch. These aren't hey, he made some, he didn't do what I did. I got a packet of things that said melt some butter and put some water in it. That's what I love it. Yeah, totally good. So snickerdoodles, I think that the winners this week, because we all had cookies, I'm going, chef probably number 1, snickerdoodles number 2, and confetti cake, just because I didn't have to really.
The confetti, even though it was out of a box, the creativity to put it all together and tie it to the music,
Yeah. Okay, we'll go with that.
Yeah.
So go.
And again, an ingredient that you brought.
I don't mind coming in third place, because I know how they taste. I'm gonna go and eat 5 more before I leave today to go to the show.
Right on, man. Right on. Totally love it. So this is one of our favorite questions of all time is, what is your go-to food for gigging, or when you're in the studio and you're like, hey, I gotta have this food to make it happen?
Chipotle. On the road, default, if I see a Chipotle, I'm like, that's where we're stopping. I could eat that every day of the week. It's also one of those too where, unlike a Wendy's or McDonald's, all the kind of fast food options that you see when you're on tour and everything like that, you actually feel like you can get something halfway healthy, but also will power you through the rest of the day, So
sure.
Gotta be Chipotle.
I agree. In Mexican food, I'm from the Southwest, so of course I'm right up your alley, right there, my friend. What is your go-to studio food?
The last 2 days it's been those snickerdoodles.
Boy, love it.
But no, whenever I have somebody come over to the studio and let's say we're gonna work on a track for my project or whatever, first thing that I offer is, hey, can I make you a latte or a coffee or something like that? And I've got an espresso machine, and I'll make them. So it's not a food, but it's calories, so it counts.
Absolutely. So awesome. And I really, and I'm going to mark my words. There are we've had amazing guests on But AJ, you're one of those people that in 2 years we're going to be. Remember, we had that guy on our show. That's how phenomenally talented you are. And I'm sure you've been told this before, so I'm not going to, but I want to know.
I don't mind hearing it again.
I absolutely, and I don't normally play the music that I have for a guest, not normally to my family. This week I was like, listen to this guy, and they're all like, this sounds like, every single current pop artist that, like Ed Sheeran, they were like in that same quality and that same vein of music where they were like, sounds like, I think it's Sam Smith. Is that a guy?
Yeah.
That's I was thinking Sam Hunt, but that guy is a country guy. Sam Smith. Yeah. So I was thinking Sam Smith, and then Ed Sheeran. It also came up as a name, and I was like, "You're right, absolutely." I mean, just blew me away. Current hit out, and you're going to have another one coming up soon.
Mm-hmm.
But current hit out that you have just recently released is Cooler.
Yeah.
Explain that song. I love that song. What was kind of the inspiration behind Cooler?
Yeah. So, the inspiration behind that one is, that internal, I mean, I guess not everybody has this internal dialogue, but I feel like most people still will think through, what does somebody think of me? Or like especially if you're on a date or if you're meeting a new person in general, you'd be like, oh, what did I just say? Did they like that? Did they not like that? I mean, even on these kinds of interviews, like I'll make a joke and I'll be like, wait, I hope people got that. Did people get that joke? Did they not get that? What's going on over here? And so it's kind of rooted in that. But then, going on my first date with now, spoiler, my fiance, we just got engaged earlier this year. And so it worked out. But, during that first date, you're like thinking that it's going really well, but you're having no idea. I mean, what if they're just pretending to like you? What if they don't actually, what if they're going to leave that date and they're going to be like, that guy was insane. I never want to see that guy again. And so I wrote about that. And the whole premise is like, all right, I hope that you're laughing with me, not at me, but just in case, like, if you give me one more chance, I promise I'll be cooler. So that's the concept. Yeah.
I love it, man. I loved it. Yeah. And then one of my other favorite was Confetti, and then Roommate. I was like, I remember that. That. I've been with my wife like 15 years now, and I remember that moment where exactly at the beginning of the song, the bathroom's now open, and you just, everything's normal now. Like now you're human. I see you without your makeup. I now am your, now we're together and I see the whole show. Yeah. I love it.
I can hide anything or whatever.
So real. I love that kind of. Go ahead.
Thanks. Yeah, that one was fun to write. I mean, like I wrote it with a buddy of mine, but about, inviting my then girlfriend to move in with me. We made that opening line for people that haven't heard the song that might be tuning in. The lyric is it weird for me to say I'm excited for the day we both pee with the door open? Which is a weird, gross way to open up a pop song. But then it says, I know that might sound gross, but that's the kind of love you only have when you know someone. And it's true. Like that's kind of, that kind of weird level of intimacy, you only get when you really like get to live with somebody. Yeah. She loved that song. There's a great reaction video of her. We kind of, it's secret is out. It's a little faked because, sometimes you don't get to capture the real reactions to things. But she's an actress. So I was like, pretend. And I didn't have the right key. I pulled out my mailbox key in the video, and like some guy in the comments was like, "What kind of key is that?" I'm like, "Hey, no, delete. You can't let anybody know." It was a cute one.
I love it, man. I love it. Go ahead, Chef. I know you have some good questions for him.
I was gonna say, what's been the most, like, I guess, What's been the best song that you've made? I guess well, I guess not best song, but one of your favorite songs that you've made throughout the time you've been creating music.
I mean, that's tough. I mean, I've got so many that are not out yet that I've been saving. I'm really looking forward to putting out. Cooler was kind of one that, that's the one that just came out. There's a music video for it. And that was one that sort of helped me find the sound that I want for a lot of my music moving forward. But, here I am. I'm actually next week, I'm dropping a ballad, another ballad. I haven't dropped a ballad since Billy Joel. And that one's called Lonely Year. And I mean, it has some really deep lyrics. And there's another song that I wrote called Academy Award, which, I just came up with that concept based off of in this kind of show everything mentality of social media. Like, you never know when someone's happy or when they're not. My dad's best friend's friend just, took his own life like last week, and nobody had any idea. And, prayers to his family and everything like that. It's wow. So hard to have to go through that. But when all you see, and I feel like we don't call our own friends sometimes because we see what's going on in their lives, or we think we know what's going on in their lives because of social media and everything. And, like, I wrote this song that's possibly one of my favorite songs in terms of lyrics that I've written, but it's not even out yet, called Academy Award. And that title came just because the lyric is, I'm so good at faking smiles that I could win an Academy Award. Because it's like a song about that pressure that we always put on ourselves to like put forth that perfect image. But it's like picking a favorite kid, man. Not that I have kids, but I imagine, I don't know, maybe it's easy to pick a favorite kid. I have no idea. Of the ones that are out, I'd probably go with either Cooler or Billy Joel, probably, or my personal favorites. But I love them all.
Yeah, they're babies. They're your babies. I agree.
Okay.
Now, I'm going to say this. I read this story online in your bio on your website, and I think that the story is about your early days in music, and it's when you were 3. I want to hear this story from your mouth because I was so blown away. It sounds very familiar to me because my family are musicians, and my dad had kind of that same thing. But I want you to tell your story. I just loved it.
All right, yeah. So when I was growing up, we had a family piano down in the living room, like a lot of people maybe have had, and it was, like my grandma's and all of that passed down. And I would just go and I would sit up there and bang on the piano. And I was falling in love with it. My parents would think it was so cute. Well, it started getting less cute when all of a sudden I started disappearing from the house when my mom was in the shower. She would usually think, oh, he's just going to go and he's going to bang on the piano. And then she would go take her shower, and she would come back, and I'd still be there just like, bang on the piano. But no, I disappeared. She came back. She's like, where's my kid? This is terrifying. Calls the police, all that kind of thing. They end up finding me sitting outside of my godmother's house, 2 doors down, like in the window well, with my ear pressed up against the window. I had taken the family dog, and I was listening because my godmother taught piano lessons. So the piano in the living room was no longer good enough. I needed to go like listen to how people actually played it. And so then my mom is like, okay, we can't do this. You got to stay. And well, like a month later, I do the same thing, and she freaks out. No idea where I am. I've wandered off again. They find me like in a different window well, but like at the same house. And they're like, oh my gosh. So finally, like, I think it was the 3rd time that it happened. Mom was like, all right, we got to just put you in lessons. Like, we can't have you wandering down the street like this. So I finally started taking piano lessons from my godmother. And then that kind of just started that whole spiral into music,
That's amazing.
That's awesome.
And then that's the way it happens, right? Now, the other thing that I thought was, not only do you have the music prowess, but you're also into one of my first loves as well, which is my current job in life, is technology. So you in high school, I'm a site reliability engineer for a insurance company.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Been doing a little bit of IT for a very long time. So technology wise, though, you were doing you talk about this. You're like in high school, and tell everybody what you were doing in high school with technology. Insane.
Yeah. So I got an internship with the Naval Research Lab over in Washington D.C. And the lab that I got the internship with was for their like infrared sensors division. And so I started working with all of their sensors, and I was coding all of these like nighttime correction algorithms and everything like that for all of these different infrared sensors that they would, use. I guess now, I mean, this was, a while ago, and everything's kind of now moved forward in terms of projects, so I can talk about it now. But it was like writing code to detect IEDs and like bizarre heat signatures, like all that kind of weird stuff. And yeah, doing that in high school, and then they like offered to pay for my college if I kept working there, and I did go back and work there for a couple semesters in between while I was in college. But ultimately, I picked the music path, so didn't keep doing that. But those guys were great.
That's amazing. And you turned down engineering scholarships from prestigious universities because to pursue music, which is still really cool. I'm definitely I'm glad that you chose a passion that, I mean, it just amazes me that you had two very solid options in life.
Thanks.
And you've done really well with this one. I think that you're. Do you have another question for him, James? It's YouTube. No worries.
Oh,
Usually, go ahead, James.
I'm gonna say, oh no, my dogs heard your dog barking, so they're starting to bark. Because they stay literally like right here, right by me. So they try they're barking at things. So I try to like mute it as much as I can, so it doesn't like interrupt or whatever. But yeah, they heard your dog, and so they started going crazy.
Yeah, she was like, she's so used to just me being here all day that she doesn't realize Zooms or anything are happening. And so she'll like she brought her ball up to me like in the middle of the last question. And I'm like, not right now, sweetheart. Like, come on.
Yeah. I love it. What's your dog's name?
Bailey Bell.
Bailey Bell. And what kind of dog?
She's a mini golden doodle. So she's like 35, 36 pounds. Decent height. Wanted something that was gonna, I could go on runs with, but I could also travel with easily, on the road and everything.
Nice. Oh, very cool. Very cool.
We have four small dogs and one big dog.
Yeah. I love it. So this is another question I have for you. What is so you're going on the road, and there's also something so you release Billy Joel, which is a really nice ballad love song to, I'm assuming, current girlfriend or another girlfriend. Could be anybody. We're not going to say. But but it's a really beautiful ballad about Billy Joel, and it's really hit me. It's a really beautiful song. Thanks. But then it also got played to Billy Joel. And what was the reaction there? I mean, I'm just blown away by this one. I want to hear that story.
Yeah. So I mean, I can even share, how it even got to him a little bit. So I was I was a songwriting scholarship recipient through the Songwriters Hall of Fame. They're looking for young up and coming writers, and they'll give them scholarships to go study places like NYU, or even just grants, because, making it as a songwriter, it takes years sometimes, unless you just get lucky. And so I got a scholarship from them, and the head of the Songwriters Hall of Fame, Linda Moran, who has been a wonderful mentor to me. It turns out that she was my now fiance's dad's next door neighbor. And so she, like my fiance, she was my girlfriend at the time. Like, this was a couple years ago. She was visiting home, and had dinner with them, and her dad was like, yeah, she's just started dating this musician or something like that. And she goes, oh, well, what's his name? And Bree's like, AJ Smith. And she's like, I know AJ Smith. He's one of our award winners from the Songwriter Hall of Fame. So fast forward, I'm putting, I think that like made me level up in, like, because most dads are probably like, oh, my daughter's dating a musician. But then like that, he was like, oh, okay, cool. This kind of musician, like, oh, okay, that's good. Songwriter Hall of Fame, cool. So long story short, when I was getting ready to put out the song, I wanted to somehow get it to Billy because I was like crazy paranoid that I would release the song and that he would hear it and then he would be like, yo, dude, this sucks. I hate this. Like, you can't use my name, get my name out of your mouth. I was like, worst nightmare if that would happen. So
that makes sense. It's like, you release that, you don't like it now. Now what are you gonna do? And you have to just delete the whole song now.
Oh God, I'd have to delete my whole identity and like start from scratch. Like, so I hit up Linda, and I was like, hey, do you know anybody that is there any way we could get this song to Billy just to like get like a seal of approval of me using his name in this song? Because I mean, it is about him. It's about his music. My fiance's favorite song is Vienna by Billy Joel. And we would listen to him when we like cook in the kitchen, all that kind of stuff. So it's like very integral music to our relationship. And so she ends up sending it to Billy's publicist, who then gets in touch with my management team and my PR team and like all of that kind of stuff. And so like his people got in touch with my people. First time I could ever say that. And he wrote back through them and he was like, heard the song, love it, like you've got a great voice, like all that kind of stuff, and like it really appreciated it. I forget the exact words. My mom doesn't. She has the email like printed out and hung up on the wall.
Way to go, mom. Way to go, mom.
And so then that's when he wrote like, hey, do you play live? Like, are you interested in doing any live shows, opening or anything like that? And then this was right when COVID was starting. So it was kind of like we've been waiting for the opportunity. Just we email back and forth every once in a while, a couple times a year, just checking in. And he brought it back up again, but, trying to figure out the right time when they're back to using open, because a lot of people aren't even using openers right now because, just the risk. They're only just getting back to work, and it's not just the artist, the COVID risk. The risk is to the crew too, and then you have to cancel the whole tour, and now that's a lot of people that can't go and see shows, and it's a lot of jobs that people aren't getting paid for because of lost revenue. So,
right,
sure,
but it's gonna happen. It's
happening.
Folks.
Oh, it's happening. Yes. I'm just waiting for the call. Like, I know it's coming, but I'm ready.
That's so cool. I'm blown away. I mean, that was a beautiful ballad. And I knew that I was wondering the song though. I was like, I know Billy Joel so well. And I was like, are we 80s Billy Joel or are we like 90s Billy Joel? What was the song? I thought this was the Catalina wine mixer for a second. I was like, which one is it? Which one is it?
Doo-wop, a little doo-wop.
Well, I shouldn't have ruined it for you. Maybe I should have left it, the mystery. So everybody could have thought it was their favorite Billy Joel song or something,
That's okay. That's okay. Everybody didn't hear Vienna, but still, I love it. Do you know what? That's just so cool. I like the story behind it because you wrote it for somebody you love and something that's so meaningful. And now everybody who hears our show is going to have that experience where they're like, yeah, that is so ultimately romantic. And I'm going to now have to, my wife will hear this and go, you've literally never done that. You just play like Slash and Guns N' Roses in the closet. So,
which is a very valuable outlet,
So now Christmas is coming up. So there you go. There's your present right there. Well, you know what I'm saying? Like,
that's right. I'm going to make a
Give
little diddly for you. That's right. That's what I'm going to have to do. I'm gonna make a little diddly. I'm gonna do some Bo Diddley. Do you know Bo Diddley? You do. Okay.
Bo
There you go.
Diddley. I made one for you.
I made some blues for you because when I know you, when I hang out with you, I have the blues. I can say that after 15
that's
years.
That's not gonna go over very well.
Don't do that one. Give me a different New Year for you.
Try and make it to New Year's.
It's definitely gonna be a big New Year for you.
Made it right to almost 15 years, and then you had to say that little thing. So, but I'm going to tell you, talented, amazingly talented, and I really just listened to your music nonstop for the last 3 days, and it's like I'll listen to some of the songs, and me and James really we do our research before we interview anybody because we really take this seriously. You know, it's important to us to be able to really convey what their music is, and with you, singer-songwriter, I think I was trying to figure out what you do best. Are you doing the instrumentals behind the scene too? Are you mixing those in there? Because I heard some violin, and I know you play violin.
Yeah, I'm kind of a one-man shop right now. I mean, I do collaborate. I love working with other musicians and producers and songwriters. For me, it's such a wonderful opportunity to get to do the thing that you love with people that you like doing it with. And but I mean, Confetti I produced by myself, and Cooler I co-produced with some really talented friends of mine that I loved what we made together. Roommate I produced with my friend, but had already written half of the song when I brought it in. I mean, a lot of the stuff that you've probably heard, I either co-produced or mostly produced, and a lot of my stuff that's coming out in 2022, I produced pretty much solo.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. I've enjoyed the songwriter piece. So this is my question when I was hearing it, and I hear songwriter and I think of Nashville, right? There's songwriters in Nashville that write hit songs for other artists. Yeah. Now, are you more, from my perspective, you have the vocal range, you're doing amazing stuff. Are you wanting to be more of a songwriter, or do you want to be the main lead vocal in your own songs and you being able to produce them yourself?
Way too much to only be a songwriter, I think. I mean, I'm not against writing songs for other people too, and I've started doing that a little bit lately, where maybe a song that we write isn't the right fit for me as an artist. We can either pitch it or see if any friends want to do it. But no, I love performing way too much to even worst case scenario. Let's say that the artist thing, just because it's really, really hard to be an artist. Let's say it never gets to the selling out stadiums level that I want it to get to. I believe that it can, and I'm really trying to, because I just love it so much. But if it never gets there, I mean, I would still be happy writing songs for other people too, and I think at least with that brings a bunch of whole other challenges too. But it's not like you're having to do all of these things as an individual artist that people see every day in order to capture attention. You just have to keep writing cool stuff, and you can let other people figure out how to capture that public eye, so like there's something compelling about that, maybe when I have like kids and I'm older, but for now I like the spotlight, so bring it on,
Oh yeah, bring it.
There we go. Right on. Go ahead, James. What do you got? What's your next question for him?
No, I was gonna say, I guess if you weren't an artist, if you weren't like into music, or if you weren't, performing, what else would you see yourself doing aside from music?
Yeah, I mean, probably be in tech. I already have these little small side hustles, especially during COVID, when touring was completely gone. I kind of like reconnected with a little bit of that piece of myself. I mean, I don't have them in here. They're like down in my truck, but I programmed like a whole lighting rig. to all go off with in time with my Ableton sessions for like live stuff. I programmed an applause app that I thought maybe I should sell this thing, but I just built it for my own live streams so that then if my fans were tuning in and they wanted to clap, rather than just like putting the clap emoji in the chat, then they could do that and it would send applause into the speakers, which was pretty cool. But then of course there's like a 10-second delay sometimes on the stream, so I realized that maybe that doesn't work so well. But that was pretty cool. You know, I'm wanting to dive into an NFT project, so probably something on the tech side, but you know, still being creative.
Nice.
Or like, you know, being probably still in the arts. Like I love film. I love making music videos so much that I could have seen that as another path, is like go after being a director or something like that.
Well, you do have the actress for a girl, fiance.
True.
Yeah. Now, what is she acting in? Is she doing plays? What is she doing?
So I mean, she started as a professional ballerina, like went trained at the School of American Ballet, was in Miami City Ballet, left the ballet world to then be like a musical theater actress, and was in Anastasia the musical and in An American in Paris, West Side Story, and now she actually just got back last night, from the Los Angeles premiere of West Side Story, the movie, because she's in that as well. She plays Sorella. She's one of the Jet Girls in the new West Side Story movie by Steven Spielberg.
Oh, nice.
Which was sick. So like super into that. She's so talented. She's in my music videos. And we're all going to go and check out West Side Story for opening night, I guess tomorrow. A bunch of us here in Nashville, and can't wait to see her in it on the big screen, because I still haven't seen it. She got to go to the New York premiere and the LA premiere, and I just got to go to the after party in New York. I couldn't go to the actual thing.
Bummer. So you're kind of commuting between both, right? You're in New York quite a bit. You're also you're residing in Nashville.
Yeah. I'm loving Nashville.
Nashville's a pretty cool town. Nicole, our booker, I don't know if you've met her, but she's our booker, and she lives in Nashville. She lives in downtown Nashville, and she loves. I think she's kind of caught between LA and Nashville. I think she's been used to LA, and so I think that her heart is probably in LA more than it is Nashville, but that's just because it's just a different place. You know, Nashville is still really ultra happening. You know, there's so many. She was telling me about some, like one of those table d'hote places where you go get the several courses of food, and like some very prestigious chef is making a small course for everything. I love it.
I went to a restaurant like that in New York when I was up there. One of my PR people took me out, and it was like I was this was before I met up with Brianna at the West Side Story after party, and I was expecting like a hearty meal, I guess, and so I had a couple of drinks while we were waiting for the dinner to come out, and then they bring out course after course, but it's all like, you know, this big. And so I'm like, oh my God, I had no idea I was basically going to be drinking on an empty stomach. I thought that I was actually going to be like eating something. So I show up to the after party and I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm drunk. I didn't mean to be. I drank on an empty stomach. Oh man, it was great food, but it was like, I was like, I want to just go get like a burger or something now. I'm starving.
That's exactly my experience. Like, I mean, we're both culinary. Me and James are both culinary guys, but yeah. Oh, there's the pup. We're both culinary guys, so I get down with that stuff. But then you're right. Like, okay, I get it, but it's really expensive, and you're really hungry afterwards still.
Yeah, I mean, you know, there is something really awesome about just like I will say it was like the best butternut squash I think I've ever had. It wasn't. It was an acorn squash. I don't know. It was some kind of squash I've never even heard of probably, but it was like the best squash that I've ever had in my life, or probably ever will. And the flavors, I mean, it was spectacular. It was just it tasted like more, and then but that's also like, you know, half of it is they don't give you more.
No, that's the whole piece of it. You're supposed to be leaving wanting to have, you know, it's crazy to me. But it's still good, and I'm glad that you're, you know, that's still cool because we're both of those people that art is, food is art too. You know, that's my experience. Yeah. So this is James. I'm going to let you go ahead and ask another question before I go off onto Andy's.
Yeah, I say one of the last ones I'll have is if you could give advice. I know we're happy to have you on, and we definitely appreciate the time that you take to interview with us. If anybody else that watches this, would there be like any advice that you can kind of give to somebody that may be like an up and coming artist, or somebody that's in wanting to be in the industry as well, that what I'm saying, maybe having trouble, or just something kind of keep them going and kind of reaching where they want to, their goal of where they want to be.
Yeah. I would say, I mean, everybody always hears the things like, oh, consistency is going to be your biggest friend. I mean, that comes for social media, that comes for song releases. For me, the reason that I think that can sometimes feel overwhelming is because it's like, I don't really feel like making 5 TikToks a day or anything like that. But where it does connect with me and where it's now started to change my release strategy with music is at the end of the day, I want to be able to create things and create art that people can connect and resonate with. And when you're putting out music consistently, even if it's because I'm such a perfectionist, I'm going to hold myself back sometimes from releasing something that I don't think is good enough. But chances are, if you've vetted it, you've written 10 songs in order to pick your best one, and then you do it again, you write 10 more to pick your best one, and then you write, they're going to be good enough. So put them out into the world, because you might have figured out how to communicate something that somebody else has been struggling to figure out how to communicate. And if you only release one song a year, or you only ever release one song, even if it's the best song that there's ever been, it's not going to do you any good just sitting on your hard drive, unless you just want it to be there to make you happy. But if you want people to hear it, you got to give people enough to listen to and be okay with the flaws, because mental toughness is the name of the game in this industry. It's a hard path, but if you can weather it, and you can learn to separate people's rejection of your art from people's rejection of you, because art and liking it is completely, independent of whether or not they like you as a person. If you can weather that, and you can manage all of that, then just be consistent, keep putting yourself out there, keep putting your music out there, and you will find your audience. There's 7 billion people in the world. There's enough people out there who are going to love the stuff that you're creating.
Facts. Amazing. I couldn't have failed.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
That's a ramble. Awesome. Hopefully it ended up in a good spot.
Mic drop. Yeah. Mic drop on that one.
Yeah. There's nothing you can follow up with. Here is where we're going next, though, folks. We have the amazing ability right now to hear some live music, and I'm so excited to hear it, because you're so talented. What are we playing today? What is it? So let's go through instruments. What are you playing? What kind of guitar? I'm a guitarist, so what are you playing?
This is a special edition Nashville Telly.
I love Tellys, yeah.
It's one of my favorite new toys. I finally got to add 2 Tellys to my collection, but then I gave one of them away as part of my promotion for Cooler. I gave away the guitar that was in the music video. So I'm delivering it in person to that fan in DC when I drive up for the holidays to go visit my parents who live in Annapolis, Maryland. So yeah, can you hear the guitar?
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
Maybe I should turn on my monitor so I can actually hear it. Hold on. I'll figure out that. And tune it probably would be good. Yeah, so I mean it's that. I'm loving this guitar. It's really awesome. And what was your follow-up? Did you have another question?
Nope, you got me telly, and then it looks like just telly. And then what are you running it through? Are you running it through what kind of amps and what kind of sound are you trying to?
Yeah, so right now I'm running it through. I just got this. It's from Mackie. It's the Onyx 16, which I'm digging. So it's. Hold on one sec. I just gotta get my input set up so I can use my tuner. So I've got that, and it's not just an analog mixer. It also goes digital. You have a USB, and unlike, instead of just sending you a stereo out or something like that where it will record to just, or like record just a left and a right to a thumb drive, it does complete multi-tracking, all of that kind of stuff. So you can use it, as a pre, as like you would an Apollo or something like that. So
very nice.
Yeah.
We had Focusrite on. Yeah, we had Focusrite on last week, so we were just like, I'm my gearhead too. So
I don't know why my tuner isn't showing up. What's up, tuner? Work, man.
I know it's supposed to pick up.
Weird. Well. Close enough, right?
There you go. Yep, sounds great.
Yeah.
All right, let's do it then. I'll play my brand new one that just came out. It's called Cooler. It's streaming everywhere.
Cooler.
Love it.
I'm sipping on my honey ginger green tea, 'cause when I drink coffee I get jittery, and I'm already nervous when you're next to me. I pray to my watch, the time would just stop. I don't know what to say 'cause I don't talk a lot, but I love to spend a couple pennies for your thoughts, and I'm hoping you can get my stomach out of knots. I have to admit, I'm no good in this, and I hope that I've made a good impression on you. And if I did it, baby, maybe could we get a redo? We could meet back here in a day or two, and when I walk through that door next time, I promise I'll be cooler. I swear I will be smoother, yeah. Oh, in my leather jacket, I'll be more enthusiastic, bring a better humor. I promise I'll be cooler. No, I won't be no loser. I'm with conversation, believe the transformation. I promise I'll be cooler, cooler. I wonder if you're laughing at my jokes at me. I don't know if you think I'm corny or I'm sweet. I'm way too wrapped up in these insecurities. I gotta calm down, I think I'm blowing in now. And I hope that I've made a good impression on you. And if I did it, baby, maybe could I get a redo? We could meet back here in a day or two, and when I walk through that door next time, I promise I'll be cooler. I swear I will be smoother, yeah. I'll make my leather be more enthusiastic, bring a better sense of humor. I promise I'll be cooler. No, I won't be no loser. I'll blow your mind with conversation, won't believe the transformation. No, I promise I'll be cooler, cooler. I'm so cool, I'm so smoother. Oh, in my leather jacket, be more enthusiastic, bring a better sense of humor. I promise I'll be cooler. No, I won't be no loser. I'll blow your mind with conversation. Won't believe the transformation. I promise I'll be cooler. Cooler. Oof. It's a little out of tune. I'm sorry about that. Oh, you're still on mute, man.
I'm still on mute. So, you know what I really like is the fact that I like that little kula. I love that part. That's like, I was just like, yeah, I can. It's just so talented, and there's definitely different. It's just beautiful, just absolutely beautiful. I like the way you really did a good job with that one. So, what is our next song up?
Yeah, so I might as well play the one that's coming out next week. It's called Lonely Year. It's a downer. I'm sorry in advance, but I think it's a way that a lot of people have been feeling after 2 years isolated. And it comes out next Wednesday. So you can go and pre-save it, and pre-saves really help a lot in terms of helping independent artists. So go to ajsmithmusic.com/lonely year and you can pre-save this one. Here it is. I've read every single book on self-help. Shouldn't that make me an expert on my mental health? But I'm a mess, I'm unstable, and heartbreak makes it hard to be grateful. Yeah, I've been dying since you left, and it hurts like hell. I'm staying up all night, missing all the time I held you dear. Yeah, it's been a lonely year. Damn, it's been a lonely year. Thought we had it right, but slowly watched us die and disappear. Life was so much better than when you were here. It's been a lonely year, a lonely year. I broke my guitar and I changed my mate, but all that did was kill the music playing in my head. Oh, and I know that it don't help when I text, can you come over? Tried deleting you, but I can't forget your number. Wish I could let someone fill the space that you left, but I still lie awake staring at your side of the bed. I'm staying up all night, missing all the times I held you dear. Yeah, it's been a lonely year. Damn, it's been a lonely year. Thought we had it right, but slowly watched us die and disappear. Life was so much better than when you were here. It's been a lonely year, a lonely year. Yeah, it's been a lonely year, lonely year. I thought we had it right, but slowly watched us die and disappear. Life was so much better than when you were here. Yeah, it's been a lonely year. There you go.
Wow, that's amazing. It's absolutely
That's
amazing.
awesome.
Yeah,
Thanks.
beautiful.
Yeah, it comes out December 15th. There you go. That's all there is to it.
Beautiful. So everybody
Well,
else heard
definitely
it here
appreciate it.
first. Where do they hear it at? Tasty Licks Music. And again, thank you so much. So we're going to do a little bit of a speed round. And we've already
Bring it.
kind of, just to kind of get the last few thoughts out there. So I'm going to go music. And number 5 on my list is, what is your favorite chord progression?
Ooh. You know what? It's probably. I mean, the obvious is like a 2-5-1.
Right.
But I would probably have to go kind of that walk up where you're going to that subdominant. So, like for example, going from like a C, like C sharp minor to I think that'd probably be what I'm liking. I just wrote a song that I also love going to that major 3. Yeah, probably that. Like a major 3 or 4. Yeah, probably that.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Absolutely. That's actually, and it's a little unique. So just it's not 1-4-5 or 1-5-4. So, which is every pop song known to man. I love that. That's what I really liked about it. I wanted people to hear that it was a different chord progression. Fourth, favorite microphones to use for your for your vocals.
I mean, I just can't afford all of them, but I love like a U47 or like a U87 Gold. Like those are the ones that I mean, I used a Manley once, and that was great too. But yeah, those are the ones that I've loved my vocal on. I got this 7B, and I have a Neumann 127, which is sort of like the entry Neumann, and that's a great mic, but I don't have a great room for it at home. I'd have to like really treat my room properly. So I got this 7B, and I mean, if it works for Billie Eilish and Phineas, it'll work for me,
That's what I use every day. I use it every day. I absolutely love my 7B. Yep. So, and then we just talked about, so we're on to number 3, favorite instrument to play, and you have a lot. So,
I've been on an electric guitar kick, but I don't know. I've also been really into playing violin lately, and like playing and singing the violin. I'll go with guitar because that's what's on my next couple of songs, and then it'll change after that.
Perfect. Good answer. Nice. Good answer. 10. Okay, so I'm going to go and the 2 and then go 1, James. 2 is how many instruments do you currently play?
I think 10 or 11 or something like that. I mean, even I'm just looking at the ones that I have in the room, just not all of them, but guitar. Some people split guitar into acoustic and electric because you play them different, or like classical, obviously you play differently, but I just say guitar. So guitar, piano. I play organ too with like feet and everything. That is an important distinction. Yes. Drums, banjo, bass, violin. I don't know where my harmonica is. Harmonica, viola, cello, passably well. Ukulele I have somewhere, and a mandolin I have somewhere. That's all that I got in the room. I don't know how many that was, but that's all that I have here.
A lot. So we can definitely tell the theme. There's a theme here. So
nothing more than many.
Yeah, the theme is yeah. The theme is string instruments, even if you consider piano, because it does have strings. So and organ doesn't fit into that. So
keys,
one off. Yeah,
and
keys
same with
and
drums,
but yeah.
Percussive instruments and string instruments.
There you go. That's perfect. And even you can even say that string instruments are percussive instruments if you go deep down into some of the early versions of those things.
Yeah.
So, number 1, James, what do you got for him?
Aside from and kind of like torn with him, who would you see yourself, or who would you want to kind of collaborate with, like kind of like your dream, I guess, collaboration or opener. I mean, I guess opener would be Billy Joel. I mean, that's a pretty good opener right there. Yeah, but who would you see yourself collaborating with? Like, who would you want to see like the dream collaboration?
I mean, probably somebody like a Phineas or a Harry Styles or an Ed Sheeran or like very much up that alley. But I also think my stuff, especially the things that aren't out yet, go a little more rock. So even like a Panic at the Disco or something that's still in that pop vein but has a little more grit to it would be really cool too. I mean, like, ultimate dream would have been to like open for Queen, but I mean, I would still love to open for this version of Queen as well. That'd be sick.
Right.
Yeah.
No doubt. I agree with you. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we're going to keep it to the hour because we are right at that mark. Thanks everybody for coming in as always, and AJ.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, my friend. I totally appreciate it. You just amazing. I absolutely love what you're doing, and I expect to. We'll catch up with you again in whenever. But I expect that we will expect that the next time we're going to have to beg, borrow, and steal to get him on the show because he'll be that famous, and we'll be like,
this is super fun, guys. Just hit me up. Just hit me up.
Yeah. Remember when he won that Grammy? Yeah, we remember that too. So we will see you on the Grammys for sure. Man, I just would have stoked. Any last words, James?
That freeze.
Yeah, froze. Hey, I'll leave you guys with something. Fun fact: the AJ stands for Andrew James. So this was meant to be.
No, I was gonna say, no, it's been oh, there you go.
Did you know that? Did you know that was my
double AJ? I didn't
AJ and there's two AJs in the building, but I just never went with by AJ.
There you go.
I am an Andrew James as well. Yes, I am an Andrew.
Oh, love it.
Yep.
Yeah, from here. That's awesome.
And my dad tried to get me to do AJ.
From here on out, yeah, we'll definitely.
Sweet. One of my closest friends is also named James Andrew. Or James.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. And then I've got another really good friend that's James Adam. So there's a lot of us.
It's a great name. Andrew James is a very biblical name. So that's we're hoping to walk on some water or something someday. So. We will talk to you all later. Enjoy your night. Enjoy your friend, my friend. Go enjoy some music with your friends and kick back and relax. Yes. Enjoy. We'll talk to you soon.
Have a great night. All right. Bye.
Thank you. Talk to you later. See you all later. Thank you again for joining us. All of the fans that coming out listening to some live music tonight. What a treat.
And we'll definitely be sharing